A great scan starts with great rules and filters. Today, we're going to discuss how you can use moving averages to create better scans. A moving average is simply an average of a stock's price over a given time period. For example, the 50-day simple moving average is an average of a stock's closing price over the past 50 days. These moving averages can help smooth price action and make it easier to understand a stock's trend. They are also price points of interest because stocks tend to behave differently around these moving averages. For example, popular moving averages such as the 50-day simple moving average and the 200-day simple moving average often act as areas of support and resistance. Therefore, if a stock is getting close to one of these averages, it may allude to a future breakout or breakdown. So let's get started by adding our first rule. We want to see where a stock's price is relative to the moving average. So we'll start by choosing the price last is greater than or equal to the analytic, and then we'll choose a technical overlay called the simple moving average. We'll set our time interval to daily and the time period to 50, which represents the 50-day simple moving average. So if we ran this scan now, we'd see all stocks that are trading above their 50-day simple moving average. This would give us a lot of results, but it really wouldn't be too insightful. If we want to see stocks that are trading just next to that moving average, we can add another criteria to say stocks that are trading by, let's say, 1% or less. This means that the stock is trading right next to that 50-day moving average, meaning it may use it as an area for support, or if it continues downward, it may allude to a breakdown. So now we see quite a few results, and we can filter through these. I have them sorted by trades, so we can go to the most interesting ones. I'll link this to my charts window so we can start looking at these results. So over here, we see the 50-day moving average, and we see the stock is just trying to get above that. I can go to the next result, and once again, we can see a stock that has been using the 50-day moving average as support, and it looks like it's trying to make a run above that average again. I could continue to filter these different results and look for stocks that may be of interest. This is particularly useful for swing traders who are interested in looking at daily charts and focusing on longer-term price action. We could continue to tweak these settings to make them even more interesting. For example, if I want to find stocks that are way above their 50-day moving average, I could put 10% as a criteria. I could then link this to my chart window and start analyzing the results. First, we have AMD, and we can see that it's trading nicely above its 50-day moving average. I can continue to click through more of these to find stocks that are pretty healthy because they're trading over their 50-day moving average. I could also add other filters to this scan playing around with moving averages. For example, I might want to find stocks that have picked up recently after somewhat of a decline. If I wanted to do that, I could add a new rule to show me stocks where the last price is less than its 200-day moving average. So we'll add the analytic, we'll go to the simple moving average, and we will set this to the 200-day. I can now scan for that and start analyzing the results. We'll link this to the chart window again and start clicking through these. So we can see that Boeing is making a move above its 50-day, which is represented by the red line, and it's approaching that 200-day moving average. This is the first time the stock has been over that 50-day moving average all year, so it may get interesting soon. Next, we'll look at Twilio, and we can see that the stock just broke below its 200-day moving average and is approaching that 50-day moving average. In this case, we may look for a further breakdown and see if the 50-day holds as support. I'm going to show you one last way you can use these simple moving averages to find interesting trade setups. So far, we've been looking at a stock's price relative to its simple moving average. We can also compare these moving averages directly to each other. So let me delete these rules, and I'm going to create a new rule. In this case, I'll start with the 50-day moving average, and I'm going to say let's make it higher than the 200-day moving average. So let me set up my criteria. The 50-day is greater than or equal to the 200-day. And let's say we want it to be by 5% or more. Let me reset this real quick. So let's run this scan and start having a look at the results. We can link this to our chart window and start analyzing these results. So Tesla, we can see the 50-day moving average crossed above the 200-day, and then the stock proceeded to break out. There's no cross on Microsoft, but the 50-day is trending above the 200-day. Similar with Snapchat, we can see that once the 50-day moving average, which is the red line, crossed over the 200-day moving average, the stock really started to turn around after somewhat of a downtrend. So if you're using moving averages, you might be interested in finding the cross itself, as it tends to foreshadow a bigger move. So if we wanted to do that, we would simply change our criteria to, let's say, 1% or less, meaning the 50-day moving average is above the 200-day moving average, but only by a small margin. Now we have a fresh set of results. I can link this to my chart window and we can start analyzing them. We can see Gilead is crossing over right here and then it came back down, so nothing too exciting, but we'll keep an eye on it. Amazon's 50-day moving average just crossed above the 200-day moving average and the stock's looking pretty good right now. Similar setup here. We can see the 50-day moving average of XYL crosses above the 200-day moving average, and the stock looks like it's trying to break out above this resistance. It pulled back, but if it's able to make it to those prior highs, we may be interested. The possibilities with moving averages are endless. They're great for building scans based on trends, bigger picture trends, and shorter picture. We talked about the daily moving averages, but you can also add these to hourly charts, intraday charts, or whatever you'd like. To get started, simply load up the Scanz platform and open up the Pro Scanner. Best of luck and reach out if you have any questions.